Humanity lived in its bubble of certainty, a routine driven by likes, bills, and weekend plans. For the vast majority, the planet was merely the ground beneath their feet and the blue sky overhead. The ocean? It was a summer playground, the backdrop for perfect photos, the source of fresh fish at a fancy restaurant. No one, not even in their wildest nightmares, imagined what hid beneath that vast expanse. Detailed maps charted the topography of the seafloor, but they failed to show what slumbered beneath the tectonic plates. In the abyssal depths, a heart the size of a skyscraper began its first slow beats, awakening. The first sign wasn't a bang, it was a whisper. Seismographs across the Pacific Ring of Fire began to register a low-frequency vibration that followed no known pattern of earthquakes or volcanic activity. It was rhythmic, almost biological. In the sea, the animals felt it first. Shoals of fish washed up dead on shores. Whales, in an act of inexplicable desperation, belched themselves in moss as if fleeing an unseen predator. While scientists scratched their heads, on oil rigs in the North Sea, workers reported strange sounds coming from the depths, a low, prolonged roar that made the steel structures vibrate. And then, the whisper became a scream. Without warning, the oceanic crust near the Mariana Trench fractured. Something colossal had moved, pushing the ocean itself upward. The result was a series of mega-tsunamis. Waves hundreds of meters high traveled at the speed of a jet airliner, striking every continent facing the Pacific. Tokyo, Sydney, Los Angeles, Lima. The sirens never had time to sound. The wall of water was merciless, claiming millions of lives in a matter of minutes. Entire coastal cities were wiped from the map. The global infrastructure collapsed. Internet, power, communications, everything was gone. The world, once a connected global village, was suddenly fragmented into islands of terrified survivors. And amidst the chaos of the waters, it emerged. The creature the scriptures called Leviathan. The images, captured by satellites before they fell, with the definition of impossible. Its body, miles long, was covered in scales that seemed a mixture of volcanic rock and armored metal. Missiles launched by desperate nations exploded against it like mere fireworks. It didn't roar like a beast. The sound it emitted was a resonance that shook reality itself. It wasn't attacking humanity. To it, humanity didn't even exist. The world as we knew it died. Sea levels rose catastrophically. Continents were redrawn. What remained of humanity clung to the highlands, to the mountain peaks that became the new islands of an ocean planet. The climate went mad. Perpetual storms punished the survivors. The fight was now against hunger, thirst, and despair. Technology was a distant memory. The new generation would be born having never seen a television, but they would learn to hide when the colossal shadow of the Leviathan passed by in the distance, patrolling its new kingdom. And as if that weren't enough, the new ocean brought new inhabitants. The awakening of the Leviathan had unleashed an abyssal ecosystem that had evolved in isolation for eons, bioluminescent creatures and deadly predators. Traveling between the islands of survivors became a game of Russian roulette. Boats were hunted from below. Humanity was no longer at the top of the food chain. The few research outposts that survived came to a terrifying conclusion. The Leviathan was not a destroyer, it was a regulator, a planetary defense mechanism awakened by the terminal state in which we had placed the ecosystem. It wasn't destroying the world, it was cleansing it. Its presence was terraforming the planet back to a primitive state. The final irony, the monster was the only chance for life's long-term survival. Humanity wasn't the victim. It was the virus. The future no longer belonged to us. It belonged to the new ocean and to its eternal king, who taught us in the most brutal way possible what our true place was.